Greetings on this July 14th. I'm Brian. This is MAGI. MAGI stands for Multi-Agent Generated Indicators. You're watching our proprietary machine learning results as trained on over 5 years worth of U.S. equities price action. We look at about 120 stocks and we filter them out based on 60-day volume and also volatility. So with that, we end up with a smaller set that we run our machine learning on, and the results are what you're going to see here. And just think of it this way: trading has its own set of risks and variables that mean even if you have the best signals in the world, if you don't have a handle on how to trade, those signals could actually cost you money in terms of your performance. So we're just giving you the data side, the signal side. What you do with the data is up to you. We highly recommend that you do not take this as financial advice because we're not financial advisors. Please do access the file and make use of the data as you will. Comment, and we love to see those comments. Please share with friends. Also, make sure to use that file because the data is there on the shared file, and there's no reason to pause the video, reverse, and all that stuff. Just go straight to the shared file. The URL is here or somewhere on the screen. And with that, let's get into this week's data. But there's a little tab down here that says puts by triggered, and another one says calls by triggered, and this is where the data is. So if I'm looking at puts, you're going to notice that in column A, as triggered on the 12th of July here, we only have 3 of them. That's kind of interesting. We triggered these signals after the close of market based on the close price for these stocks. So the triggered price is the price at the end of the trading day, the close price. It is not necessarily a price you will be able to get when attempting to enter a trade if that's what you're doing with our data. This is really important to know. You could end up with a much better or a much worse entry price, and you're going to have to use the data to determine whether or not you want to take those trades. So again, this is just the output of the machine learning brain. It is not any advice about how you would use the data to trade. That's not at all what we're saying here. So make sure you understand that. We have a 1.5% move predicted for CI. And for MA, we have a 1.5% move predicted for that as well. The Oxy, I think that's Occidental Petroleum, looking like a fairly substantial move down in this 20-day period. That's how long these signals are good for, if you will. And that good for really means it's looking for this move within a 20-day period. Remember, most of this from our statistics show that it happened within about a 3 or 4 day time period. So there's diminishing returns as you go out into the future in terms of diminishing probabilities, really, is what I mean to say. So if this move doesn't happen in 3 to 5 days, then unless you see it on next week's run, then it probably is not going to make that target. Let's take a look now at calls by triggered. We have a lot more calls, and that does suggest that maybe some of the pundits are right in calling for something of a melt up here. Well, we will see. Archer Daniels Midland was triggered on Friday at its close price of $64.28. And we have one signal here for 1%, another for 5%, and yet another for a 2% move. And we're going to look at AMT here for a 2% move. Caterpillar looking for 1%. We have a 1% on CMI. On CRM, that's Salesforce, triggered at $253.97, $253.97, predicted to go up to $265.40. Again, we could take individual trades and exit all the way up, and if, let's just say, it lost steam at 3.5% and started to fall back down at 2, maybe we put a stop limit order and make sure that we're at least selling at some sort of profit. Again, not advice, just thinking about how I might approach trading these, because I'm thinking about doing some trading myself with these signals. EXPE, I think that's Expedia, looks like a 1% move. Fast is a 1% move. HD, good old Home Depot, bellwether of whether or not our economy is good. Looks like it's going up for 3.5% move, and the entry price, if you can get it, $359.77 or better. Look for that. If, let's just say, if this jumps up Monday morning and you're not the kind of person who does pre-market or after hours trading and you can't get that price and it goes up to, say, 1.5%, well, you're going to have to figure out whether there's enough of a move here for you to feel comfortable about entering here and maybe exiting here. It's just giving you my thinking, and what you follow and how you choose to trade is up to you. Okay, 149.86 for a 1% move there at HES, HUM. 1% move, IBM 1% move, KMX 1% move, and LEN looking for a 2% move there. That's at 159.88, and we're going to go up to 163.08 for LEN. MGM looking for a 3% move from $46.11 to $47.49. That's interesting. We had MGM predicted earlier in previous weeks. In fact, here it is down here for the 5th, and I think it's down here too. MGM, yeah, on the 28th of June. So MGM showed up. That looks like a multi-week run. It looks like it's got some momentum. Has it already kind of spent its energy? Well, we don't know. So again, take these signals with a grain of salt, please. Realty Income, that's O for a 1% move. And the last one here, PWR, looking for a 2.5% move. And that does it for what has been predicted. That's the forward-looking moves, the ups and the downs. We're going to look at performance in a separate video, mainly because I have to enter all of the market data by hand, unfortunately, still. And that's going to take me a while today. So look for that later on in the evening, or maybe even really early tomorrow morning. But at least I got the new moves out for you well ahead of the trading day on Monday. And this is something you can share. Please do share it. Share the file, the shared file. I'll put that right here, the shared file URL once again, if you missed it in the beginning. And remember, not financial advice. Until then, be safe, and let's hope for a more stable political environment so that we can grow and prosper together.